Hey everyone, Molly here. So this will be one in a series of little bite-sized snippets about what is yoga. And many of you finding this channel or maybe even finding yoga on YouTube in general are pretty familiar with the physical practice of yoga. But as this channel is also intended to help you kind of broaden the perspective of what the physical practice is and how it's a piece of this whole lifestyle that we call yoga philosophy, I want to give you in small pieces that are digestible and hopefully easy to connect with and understand a little bit of the background behind what is yoga. So the question itself, what is yoga, is something that when we do teacher trainings and when I do more intensive retreats, it usually ends up being a couple-hour conversation. So not the easiest question to answer in just a few minutes, but I'm going to do my best just to start creating the story for you in a more well-rounded way. So yoga, the word, simply means carries with it, well, there's nothing simple about it actually, because it is one of the words in Sanskrit that has the most definitions of any words in the Sanskrit language. So already we're kind of into territory where how do you use this one word to describe one succinct thing when in actuality it's representative of so many ideas. But the beautiful thing is that no matter what the definition of this word yoga is, it always has inherent in it this idea of yoking or unifying ideas or concepts or experiences or eventually truths and wisdoms about life. And in fact, the whole of yoga, the whole of this approach to life is about moving from polarities where usually we find ourselves in the experience of suffering toward the middle where two polarities can exist together in a conversation, in a harmonious balance, in a harmonious wave. And so whether you are learning how to embody this idea of yoking together polarities in life, unifying polarities of life through the physical practice or through any of the other practices that are outlined in the philosophy of yoga, bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of devotion, karma yoga, which is the yoga of selfless action, or simply the yoga of action, jnana yoga, which is the yoga of the intellect. So many different pathways toward the realization of how these seeming dualities in life actually belong in a dance together. And so what does that mean in real life for us? Because my sister is always telling me, your philosophy is beautiful, but give it to me in real terms. And what this really means in real terms, what is this idea of yoga, is that we begin to encourage ourselves, often through the physical practice, away from, for example, I can or I can't, which are two complete polarities. And when I say I can, what is the problem with that? It sounds so positive, it sounds so optimistic. Yes, but when I say I can, I have already decided what the answer is. And inversely, when I say I can't, right, you can even feel the difference in your body. If you're following along at home, just try it. Say I can and feel how that feels in your body. And then you say I can't and feel how that feels in your body. Really opposite sensations. When I say I can't, then I'm automatically closing the door to investigation, to curiosity, to finding all of the gray area between I can and I can't. So I'm not saying to not say I can, because that is a positive, optimistic thing, but just to use as a metaphor of how this idea of unification relates to our real life, our thoughts, our bodies, everything. So where we really want to try to be, and as we are learning how to embody these ideas of yoga, we want to be somewhere in the middle between I can and I can't. Which means what? It means that if I am trying to make a speech for the first time in front of a huge group of people and I'm nervous, maybe I tell myself, okay, I can do this. But in that I carry with me the idea that how I think I can might be the right way, but when I'm actually facing those people and I start to give the speech, there might be some presence needed, right, to sort of change the strategy. Maybe what I start to say to the people I see they're not relating to, and so I have to change my strategy a little bit. So yes, I can, but I can't have decided exactly how it's going to go. Otherwise, I close a door to myself. And inversely, with I can't, okay, sometimes, yes. Molly, can you go pole jump? Well, no, I can't, but how could I do that if I wanted to do that, if I really wanted to go and pole jump, right? So it's not just I can't in the world of yoga through the lens of yoga. It's maybe I can't right now, but if I really want this in my life, or I really want this quality in my life, the next question that follows, I can't right now, but how could I? And in this way, no matter which polarity we're beginning from, or when we catch ourselves in these two polarities, we begin to have tools that guide us back toward the middle dance of bringing these dualities together in a beautiful kind of like the waves of the ocean. And so in the broad spectrum of yoga, one of the things that I find really most beautiful about this philosophy, and it's true of almost every Eastern philosophy that I have studied, is that often when we think about a life philosophy, it's exactly that. It's just a philosophy, some nice thoughts. But the science of yoga actually gives some structure and some ideas and some practices and some ways to go about life that help us to realize the truth of the philosophy. So yes, most of us start with the familiarity of the physical practice because heck, our body is the easiest thing to know that it is really real. I said that so badly, but the body, for sure, we've got it. The rest of the stuff seem like nice ideas, but little by little, as you dive deeper into the world of yoga, into the philosophy of yoga, into the life of yoga, you begin to see that the physical practice is just the tip of the iceberg to an entire approach to life that teaches us and helps us to cultivate the ability to draw away from polarities and bring ourselves back into a life of connection. So this is a little first jump into the deep end of what is yoga? What in the world are we doing on our mat when we're moving and breathing together? And this is just the beginning of a small series of little tiny snippets to give you the opportunity to understand more about the world of yoga beyond just feeling good after you move and breathe. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time, or I'll see you on the mat.